Well, I just, real quick, I just want to make this video as I'm been reminded, and just as a quick testimony. Um, Hopefully, I think it's quick anyway. I'm just saying, it's a testimony. Why am I here? As you can tell, gardening. See all my vegetables that I still yet to plant because I clearly ran out of dirt. Blah, blah, blah. Can't talk. Lord help me. I'm blinded by the light, and which is funny. I can't even see myself on the video right now. I just see a black screen, so it's kind of, I don't even know if I got my face, or hopefully I don't have my boobs in there. God help me. Let me go inside so I can see. This is cooler. Hold on, bear with me. Let me push pause. Much better. Okay, now I can see me and make sure I'm just not giving y'all full overall cleavage shot there. God forbid, Lord help me. Uh, Hopefully it's not on there. Sorry, scratch that. It's not what testimony. Let me get to it. So, a bit strange for my mom, and like I said, I don't know if y'all have heard, but I grew up Pentecostal. My mom raised me to be Pentecostal, so I had couldn't cut her hair, the whole 9 yards, hair down to my ankles, dresses down to my ankles, all that being. And as soon as I got up out of the house, which was at a very young age, I chopped my hair off, which I totally regret, and kind of been out in the world. And even though I was baptized, and I was anointed with oil by a preacher when I was young. Tried to speak in tongues and stuff. I mean, I spoke it, but I didn't speak like the clear words that everybody else speaks right here. I can't say it seems like words. Mine's just more of a kind of thing that isn't quite full to expect, but nonetheless, it's still of the spirit. And God understands me, and that's all that matters, and that's all it's supposed to be. You know, um, unless somebody's there to translate speaking in tongues, it really doesn't matter. It's between you and God, and that says it in the scriptures. So all those people speaking in tongues, if they're not doing it in a private manner between them and God, it says in the scriptures that they do not matter, because if you're speaking it to the people, it's lost in translation, because if God wanted somebody to know and hear those words, then he would have a somebody to be an interpreter of the speaking in tongues, just so you know. Well, anyway, back to my testimony. Earlier this year, when I got a hold of my mom, I was letting her know how I was doing, and showed her my TikTok page, and she could see all that I'm doing up in Christ and what have you not. And she said these very words to me. She goes, "Well, yeah, even God used Paul," and that was funny. Funny. I was a little tad bit offended, but not the way you kind of think. It's just like, gosh, man, how cruel did she think I was out in that world? But just saying. Anyway, but I also, why in my studies, have learned a lot to sometimes a little bit have a little thing against Paul in his letters, because people tend to take, not Paul's own, because people tend to take Paul's words and twist them and take them out of context and use them against people, and trying to command them and try to tell them that it's God's law, God spoke this, and he demands it. So I have a little bit of issues when it comes to that. But so eh, that's why I have my little thing in there. But then I come to realize, as God has gifted me his wisdom and has blessed me with not only just his wisdom, but knowledge and understanding of what the scriptures is saying together as a whole, that I began to realize, oh my goodness, I am Paul. And it reminded me as I was going, because I made a video earlier today referring to Paul's teachings, because people take it out of context. Um, that I was thinking about it afterwards, and it dawned on me, oh my goodness, I am just like Paul, so to speak. Only I wasn't persecuting the Christians. I was out I was of the world, let me say. But the reason why I'm like him because our testimonies are the same. When God called me back, and when God called Paul, he was on his way on the road, and he was blinded by a light. He had a vision, and he spoke to God. God spoke to him and told him what he must go out and do. And then he was blinded 3 days, and after that, he just had all knowledge, was teaching the Gospels nonstop to everybody. I mean, like he knew, just like in the book of Isaiah, when the prophets go before God, that the angels took the coals out and put on the mouth, or they made them eat the scrolls and put God's words. So God has put his words into the mouth by making them either put coals on the mouth or made them eat a scroll. And Paul, he was blinded for 3 days. And after that, it wasn't like, it said it didn't take him like years to study what the other disciples were saying. It says he went out and preached. Do you understand that? He just went out and preached. Okay, so here goes my testimony real quick before I run out of time. When God called me back, now I wasn't blinded for 3 days, but for 3 days I had 3 visions. And one of them I was blinded so much because I could not see God that all I could see was his feet. And we had a conversation, and I don't understand. Since I don't remember, I don't understand what was said between me and God, but my spirit knows what we were speaking to each other. That after he was speaking and while he was speaking, I couldn't do nothing besides cry because I had to keep my head bowed. I could not look up because it was so bright, and his gown was like this crystal diamond. If anything could be white and blue at the same time, full of diamonds and glitter, that's the only way I could describe it, with this whole brightness. Okay, I couldn't look up. I couldn't even lift up my head if I wanted to. All I could see was his feet. That after he was through speaking to me, all I could do was wash God's feet on just that one of the visions I had. And I can't tell you, but after that, I'm gonna tell you, I smoked weed. I smoked cigarettes since I was 12 years old. I mean, I had to have a pack or a pack and a half that I smoked in a day, daily. I did not miss that, and if I did, I was angry and mad. Same thing with weed. If I didn't have cigarettes, at least I had to have my weed, and I was content. Let me tell you, after that vision, I ain't never picked up a cigarette or smoked a thing of weed, and it's like I've never touched this stuff a day in my life. It's like I never even had the problem. Like I may have drank occasionally, but I haven't even drank nothing since. I'm telling you, God healed all that. Amongst other things that is health-wise with my body that I had gone through. But that's another place of time. But I'm telling you, I began to understand that I could be more different than Paul. Because I didn't get blinded for 3 days. But technically I was blinded for 3 days because I had 3 different visions. And one of them I was blinded. I could not see up, but I wasn't like kept blind. But ever since then, man, within that year, I had read the Bible almost 4 times completely, front to back. I understood everything, and I know all his teachings. I literally understand and have been teaching, just as Paul did, with authority and with understanding ever since then. So I don't know what God spoke to me in my spirit, because I don't understand it, because I don't speak God. You know what I'm saying? I just speak the language, but I don't like know the language. None of us do. That's God's language, not ours. But I couldn't. Now it's like a reversal. Like it used to irk me a little bit because of how people twist what Paul says. But now and you know what? Throughout my life, everybody's always twisted what I said because the way I talk is funny, and sometimes I speak backwards because I'm dyslexic. And it's not that I just see the letters backwards. I actually would speak backwards. Like I'll put the last words of the sentence at the beginning and the beginning at the end. You know, it's that kind of a backwards flip. So my stuff was always getting twisted around. I couldn't have more in common with Paul. If you know, it just blew my mind, and so I've come to realization, and I just wanted to share this testimony. You know, I mean, I remember all 3 of my visions. I've never made a video what was of those visions, but they are written down, but I don't have to write them down. I have them in full memory. And that was just at that time. Now I've had other visions since then that's even more powerful, but that was when God called me to Christ. Just like when God called Paul to Christ. And dawned on me today. It all